Hey everyone, welcome to another week of More Than You Asked For, some JavaScript and a whole lot more with your boy Kyle Shevlin. Um, yeah, we're just kicking off. We'll see who joins us tonight. I kind of got a little bit more of a new setup. I don't know if you can see, but this over here, right here, this is actually the chat window. So we'll actually be able to see the chat in the stream. Pretty excited about that. I got myself a new monitor, and it's much bigger. It's got a higher resolution, so I can fit a whole lot more on the screen. So that might mean some adjustments in terms of how big things are um, are zoomed in. But yeah, pretty exciting. Shit, looks like my CPU is getting used the hell up. What the heck is going on over here? I hope it's just a glitch. I hope it works itself out, but my CPU is at 57% at the moment. I'm almost afraid to turn on my activity monitor just to find out what's even doing it. I should have nothing on. I basically restarted my computer before got going, but my CPU is getting. Although maybe it's because I'm operating at a higher resolution than I have in the past, so maybe that's what it is. That's what I'm gonna guess it is. So, anyways, we just tweeted out that I'm going live, so hopefully some people will start trickling in. I know some people that normally watch the show are traveling from from Salt Lake City, as weird as that sounds, because um because I know there was a Utah JS. We got Salt and Burnham saying, "Yo, see, you can see it in the chat now." Um, so that's Chris. Hey, Chris. Hello from Detroit, man. Glad you're awake. Lucas Frosty says it's probably a data mining script running on your PC. Maybe. That'd be kind of funny. Maybe OBS had an update and they're just mining bitcoins all over the place. You never know. You never know what people got to do these days to get rich. I'm going to have to get better at not needing to look at the left screen now that I have it up here. But just in case you ever wondered, I do keep like a viewer count over here too. See, like I'll even show you. It's not quite accurate at the moment, I don't think. But see, I keep a little viewer count over here. But yeah. No chatbot. So I've had this chat widget up actually on my other screen all these weeks. That's how I know what you're saying. I don't actually run Twitch at the same time. I don't think my Wi-Fi and my computer would handle it. So, but yeah, we're here again this week. I'll probably share my news a few times this week because I had a really incredible weekend and I just want to make sure everyone gets a chance to hear about it tonight on the stream. But last week on Friday, I flew down to the Bay Area to speak at the Google Developers Group DevFest Silicon Valley conference. It was a whole lot of fun. I got to do my, excuse me. You know what? I'm gonna have a sip of beer. Yeah, I got to speak at the conference. I talked about basically an intro to functional programming, kind of like I did on stream a while back, but shorter and more entertaining than me just chatting with y'all. But it was great. Friday night, I got invited to a dinner where I was easily the least accomplished person in the room. Like I mean, there was just so many great people there. There was Sebastian McKenzie, creator of Babel. There was Sam Saccone. There was Adi Osmani. There was Susie Liu, a great data visualization person. There was Alex Castillo from Netflix. Some people from the Angular team. Man, it was mind blowing the amount of talent at this one restaurant table. I was really honored to be there, and yeah, I really cherish those things. Also on Friday, before that, I got to head down to Netflix for the afternoon down in Los Gatos, and I got to hang out with Ryan Burgess and Jem Young and my friends Doug and Peter, and we were just hanging at Netflix for the afternoon. I got to tour the campus. It's huge. There's like 5 or 6 buildings. Really cool place. I'll have to make it down there again sometime. They have these like amazing private screening rooms, or like I would love to get there for like a Netflix engineering meetup that they have sometime. It was really cool. But yeah, I got to meet Jem for the first time in life. We've chatted a lot like this year, but it's the first time we met. The dude's like 6'6". He's a beast. But we had some beard admiration time, as we like to call it. So Friday was really cool. Saturday, I got to meet Ben Lesh, a main contributor to RxJS. Works at Google now. He was really cool, and I got to hang out with Tracy Lee. She's amazing. Got to see my good friend Shirley Wu. I hope you've been checking out her stream if you haven't been, but she streamed a couple times the last few days. She's awesome too. It was a good weekend. I love that I get to occasionally get down there to that area where I get to kind of spend a little bit of time with these people that I mostly interact with on Twitter. So it was just really cool. And I'm just grateful that the opportunity that the opportunity came to me. That was my first like real conference talk, and I'm really thankful for that. So yeah, Chris says living the life, huh? I don't know about living the life, but 2017 in some ways has been a really good year. I've met some amazing people, including you, Chris, and all you people in the chat. You guys and gals have been amazing people to add to my life and to get to know a little bit. Some of you more than others, but yeah, when it comes to like growing my community and who I can reach in this industry, like this year has been amazing. I really can't believe it's what's happened. I don't fully understand it. Like I had people coming up to me at the conference being like, "Oh my gosh, I know you from Twitter," and I'm like, "Dude, like I'm nobody, man. I don't do anything." And yeah. Lucas asked, did I meet Jaffer? Jaffer wasn't there at the conference, unfortunately. I would love to meet him someday. Knowing like what he's done also with RxJS and just observables in at all. So yeah, he would be amazing to meet. The closest I've come to meeting him is just taking his front end master's courses, but I haven't met him yet. Chris says, you are somebody. Well, we're all somebody. I just meant, you know what I mean, man. I'm just keeping it humble, you. Keeping it humble, yo. That's what I'm trying to say. Can't speak right now. I'm really hoping my computer doesn't crap out. It's like running at 55% CPU. I'm guessing it's because of the bump up to 1080p this week. So we're praying on that. So Jen says I'm early. I'm not early. It's 8 my time, man. It's 8:10 PST. Like I said, 8 o'clock. I'm not early at all. You're late. You're late, Jen. You're late. I'm just saying. But yeah. Cool. So let's try and figure out where we were last week. And we'll try and work on this Talk Planner app a little bit more. I had some ideas of maybe even working on my Second Career Devs podcast. I do not start at 9. I start at 8 p.m. my time always. I've got 8:11 on my... You can even see it right here. Like, yeah, you can see it up here. See? 8:11. I start at 8. I always start at 8. I started at 7 one week. I start at 9 your time. It's got to be 9:10 where you are, right? Like, unless Utah did some weird time switchy thing, but that would have been a month ago. Sorry, folks. I digress. You know, one of my fatal flaws is needing to be right. One of the things I've had to adjust to, with the bigger screen is like I've had to blow the crap out of I have had to zoom in so y'all can see everything. So I hope this is big enough. Give me some thumbs up in the chat if you think this is big enough. You know what? I might have to. I've never thought about this, but I'm actually gonna try and pull this all into one screen, so y'all can keep seeing the. Y'all can keep seeing the chat while I do this. I'm not really good at doing things in a single screen, but I will work on it for y'all's sake. I normally use the spaces. I've always used it. It's what I love. But I will give it my best shot to make it work for you today. So, Zinyando is up. It's 6 a.m. where he is. I'm up to watch. Oh, man. Thank you for getting up early. You didn't need to. Zinyando, I believe, is somewhere in well, the continent of Africa. I sound like such a dummy there because I'm not certain which countries he's in, and I do understand that, like, Africa's a giant place and countries are very different, and I hate sounding like an undereducated person. Like, I hate sounding like an uneducated American because we should really be more Zimbabwe. There we go. Yeah. I mean, like, man, I'm just gonna say it, people. Fuck the Mercator projection. I'm just saying it promotes British colonialism and yeah, go look it up, people. It makes the things on the edges look bigger than they are. Like, Greenland is not the size of Africa, people. Africa's ginormous. But I digress. Let's see. 1:13 a.m. here. So you must be on the East Coast, Frosty. Man, Frosty's such a good nickname, by the way. Oh, man, this is going to really screw me up. But I'm going to try. Let's bust open some console here. If it doesn't work, I will find a way to, like, in the future, like, mount the chat box widget. Ooh, that is what I can do so I don't screw up. Oh, my gosh. I just thought of it. I can I'll do it next week, but I can, like, triplicate this, right? And so I'll just have it on the side of all my screens. That's how I'll do that. All right, what were we doing? We were trying to make a talk planner that was similar to slides.com's little, like, mode of traversing their slides. And if I remember right, I think we kind of finished by adding local storage to Redux without, like, using a library. We need to find a way to update positions eventually. You know what? I'm just gonna write some shit down. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should just write it out on some kind of document or something like. Oh, man, I'm gonna do that all night, people. I'm so used to swiping. It's how I get around my. You know what? I can't do it. I'm just gonna do it. You're gonna have to deal with it. I'm sorry. I'm a horrible person who's stuck in his ways and can't adapt and change. I'm such an old person. But okay. So, things we need to do. We need to be able to create boxes. We need to be able to add text to boxes. Let's get a README going or something. Did I do this last week? I did. Okay. Create unique IDs. I'm already doing that in the action. Routing. I know I said I wanted to do that so we could edit the boxes. Okay, we want to add a text box in any direction. I'm going to get rid of this. It's silly. Added a block after creating UI displays those blocks. We kind of have that. We just need to make the box cooler. And then we definitely need to give our boxes some styles at some point. But let's see. All right. Let's try and remember what our application is doing. I don't know about y'all, but sometimes, man, I really struggle on Mondays. What about you? Do you struggle on Mondays? Like, to like, I do need to duplicate this. I'm going to duplicate this if I can. Can I duplicate this window? Can you just do it from a window? Because this isn't really a full browser. I don't know anything about this. Can I... I've never done it this way. Can I duplicate a... Is there a shorthand for, like, duplicating the window I'm on? Like, I know it when I have, like, a normal thing, but you know what? I'll just do this. Control C. We'll open it up here. And then I'm going to move that thing over here where y'all can't see and see if that'll work. I don't know if it will. Actually, I don't think it will. The rats. Anyways, I'm realizing like I don't always see this. Sorry, I'm discombobulated. Bobulated. I'm just being silly. But yeah, all right. Trello board. Yeah, I got the Trello board, but that's not really how I don't know. I'm not a Trello expert. I don't do a good job other than just like saying specifically what I need to do. Yeah, see, like I still have all these things we can talk about. Yeah. Anyways, what else do we got here? Okay. Let's just okay. I was talking about Mondays. I was talking about how like I can't remember what the heck I'm doing come Monday. So like literally like the whole weekend I forget what I did the week before, and I have a 9 a.m. stand up every day, and it's like it's just the worst for me. I cannot remember anything useful for people. So I'm looking at this, and this tells me boxes container is kind of the thing I want to focus on. But I think boxes container just gets my boxes. It does. It's connected to state down here, which is actually our Redux store. And it just maps the boxes and the add box action to our component. And we have those here, and we pass them into boxes. So let's look at our boxes component real quick. Boxes is just right now a div that's mapping some boxes. We can improve this if boxes doesn't have any length. That would be smart. Let's do that while I'm thinking about it. Boxes.length. And we can make it a ternary. So if boxes.length will map the boxes, or actually, yeah, we'll do it this way. Is that right? I'm trying to remember. Yeah. Or we can return null for now, I guess. That should have been there. That's that one, so we need one more. We'll see how bad I broke this. Yeah, I definitely messed this up. I need at least one more of these. Oh man, sometimes I can't reason this crap out. Okay. Now that looks about right. See what, yeah, prettier fixes it. Sweet. These, and yeah, okay. So if we have a length of boxes, we're going to map over the boxes and we're going to show them. Otherwise, we won't show anything. We'll fix this later. I'm going to leave myself a little to do. Empty state needs to be more awesomer. I'm really feeling a bit off my game, folks. Let's see. You can add photos to your board. Spice it up some. Yes. Trello. I totally could add photos to my board, but I am a lazy person and I don't spend a lot of time looking for weird photos on the interwebs. Honestly, if I didn't have the GIF search things in Twitter or Slack, I don't know what I would do. Like, I used to have... Oh, so Lucas Frosty here says, I guess you could do boxes.length double and, like the double and. Lucas is unfamiliar with a little mistake, a little boo-boo that happens in React when you do it that way. Let's do your double ampersand thing real quick, and I'll call this foo, right? And we'll do foo.length and H2 hello. And I'll just make foo out here. Const foo. Let's make it empty. What you're gonna see here is a big old 0. See? Can you see that, folks? Can you see that? I think you can see that now. Look how big and crisp that is. Peace out, Chris. Have a good night. So you're probably like, what is happening, right? Well, the issue is this. Like, if I had for instance, a number of items, right? Like, and const items equals 0, right? Like, in React, JSX would have to be able to show that. So it's going to reload here in a second. Should show a second 0. Hey, well, hold on. Let's put a little break in there. This is a gotcha. This is a gotcha that gets a lot of people. So JSX will see that 0 and not say, oh, that's false. Don't evaluate the other side. Instead, it turns it into instead of coercing it to the Boolean, it keeps it as a number or as a string. I think. I honestly, I probably think it's a string. We could even do maybe a type of. I don't know if that would help here in this case because it might prevent the coercion, but we'll see. It might say number. Yeah. So it keeps it a number. That's awesome. That's good to know. But that's why this right here, this foo.length thing, I mean, as soon as we give it some stuff, right, it won't fail anymore. It'll show hello. It should show hello right here. Yeah. See? But Frosty, I just want you to know that this is like this is a gotcha that's gotten lots of people, lots of smart people smarter than me and you and everyone in this room. No, actually, I'm not saying none of us are smart. I'm just saying like there's some brilliant people out there in the world that make this boo-boo, this mistake, and I've been one of them. So just be careful when you're using the double and, because you're dealing with JavaScript. I mean JSX specifically. Like yeah. That's why you want to use the ternary in this case. The ternary will properly do the coercions for you. That's just something to know. Okay. All right. That should work out. Ideas don't. There we go. I'm going to shrink that back down a little bit. Okay. So I got a few boxes there. Let's like, you know what? Let's clear the local storage. I believe that's an application if I remember my why didn't that go? Huh. Nothing like clicking your dev tools and they're not doing anything. It's a good feeling. There we go. Let's kill this. Let's delete it. Oh, will it let me just do that? Can I just do it? Oh, there you go. You can just hit delete. Lucas is like, that's definitely more than I asked for. You can't see it yet. Y'all need to chat more so that like things pop up above my face. No, because I can see here, like, okay, you know how my face is like right here, like to me. I don't actually see a picture of my own face. That's not how this software works. So I can see behind my own face. Think about that for a moment. Anyways, Lucas said, that's more than I asked for. Thanks. You're welcome. That's what we're here for. People, if you have questions, tonight is the night to ask them, because honestly, I am, like I said, I'm just not 100% certain what I'm trying to do tonight. So I'm here to listen. I'm here to help out. Send them my way. And you know, if you don't have any questions about React, you can ask me questions about whatever. You know, you can ask me, like I told you, about my weekend and how awesome it was. You can ask me about what how's my podcast going? That's going well. I don't care. Whatever. Okay. What I want to do is I need a box that I can use to add boxes. I need an add box component. And I need like an edit box component. And yeah, I need some stuff like that. Let's start with the add box component. I really meant to sit down and work on my snippets for this. You know what? We'll actually make it a class because we need to do some state stuff. I really meant to work on my snippets so I'd stop having to type all this stuff all the time, and I just didn't. I think I got stuck making dinner or something. I don't mean that way. Let me rephrase. My wife took a job, and I'm really happy for her. And it's an adjustment for us to work on. Like, I've been home a lot more, so I'm making dinner a lot more often than I'm used to. And so, you know, I made, like, for instance, I made this, I don't know what you call it. It was just like a rice chicken and like green chilies and black beans, something. It tasted really good, but yeah, that took me about an hour that I was expecting to maybe spend on some stuff here. So I really cannot seem to think tonight. I'm gonna need a text area for sure, and I'm just gonna do that for now because I honestly can't. Man, I'm feeling. You ever have a night? I don't need to pass props probably at this point. You ever have a night like this where you just like you cannot? We'll just call it value. Value equals non-change. We'll fire this dot handle change. What else will we need to do? I'm sure. Are y'all saying some things in the chat? Oh, Kevin joined us. Don't tell me, Dina, what to do. What? What's going on? Kevin's my buddy from the Baltimore, D.C. area over there. MD Smithson asks, why use React? You know what? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to unlock my face a little bit. And I'm going to move it so y'all can see the chat here. Give me a second. This is going to be freaky, people. I hope you're okay. Don't get seasick, y'all. Okay. I hope that was okay. All right. So now y'all can see the chat. You can see who I'm answering. Kevin, my good buddy, don't tell me or Dina what to do. I'm telling you to go to bed. It's late. All right? It's late where you are. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you for staying up. I hope my soothing, smooth voice can help you fall asleep with sweet dreams, that kind of thing. Let's see. MD Smithson says, why use React? I could probably talk about this the whole night. I won't, but let's say this. React has one of the smallest API surfaces of all the current JavaScript front-end frameworks. And I really love that because when I'm working on a real app with real problems, sometimes trying to memorize a giant API or remember the conventions that a framework has made for you is really challenging and frankly cumbersome or it just gets in the way. So the fact that the API is so small and it gives me the opportunity to be able to use the language to its advantage, like to be able to use the strengths of the language to solve my problems, that's a huge win for me. Plus, it being so small and the way React apps are built, like nothing ever goes into my application that I haven't vetted or I need, right? Like, my app can naturally stay smaller because I'm only adding things to it as opposed to right now the state of most of the other ones, especially like I work on Ember for my day job. Ember is this giant framework that has no means of tree shaking yet. We might get it at some point where we're able to shake out what we don't actually need. It's they're working on there's a way to do it with ES6 classes finally. There's a way to do it with importing the actual modules instead of the whole Ember core into every single component file, but it's still a long way to go in a lot of applications. And so you end up with a lot of bloat. It's the same argument I make for people who like use like Bootstrap without shaking it down and only using what they need, right? You end up with all this extra code sitting around in your applications that you maybe aren't using. And that's just a waste if you ask me. So I use React because of that. It's also a really nice like API to use. It really makes a lot of sense once you get into it. I think React nailed the lifecycle hooks. Like I think whoever like figured that out did it right. They hit on the right ones, the ones you need. And here's the other thing. He's adding another question, or she. I shouldn't assume. But what is special about React versus jQuery? So here's the big difference. jQuery was mostly built for cross-browser compatibility and for interactions, right? Like it was like find something and do something with it. React isn't about finding things. In fact, most of React isn't around actually finding anything in the DOM. That's what jQuery does. It's all about things are already on the DOM. You've written maybe some HTML or something, and jQuery goes and finds a selector and it does stuff with it, right? And it really came about in a time when there was things like IE6 and there was just these very difficult things to do cross-browser. It was an impossible time, and JavaScript wasn't as uniform as it is today, and jQuery was super, super useful. It was the very first thing I learned in terms of scripting. And so I'm not trying to knock it. I'm not. But React is like for a totally different purpose. React is really about being able to build... it's about declarative DOM creation, right? Like, it allows you to build out entire applications in a very declarative way, in a very useful pattern. Like React really just hands you a bunch of patterns and says, here you go, build something awesome with it. What's really useful about React specifically, and that's better than jQuery, would be React has... It's built to be able to build up and tear down the DOM really, really quickly. Like if you're updating data or anything like that. But also the way I conceive of React in general, and frankly, you can put this to almost all the front-end frameworks, but I put this to React especially, is that an application in React really is just a giant function. It's one function. It's actually just a mountain of functions if you look into it, because that's what components are. They're functions. But essentially, this function at the top, I give it my data, and my data declares what my UI will be. It's about data-driven DOM. It's not about me like making some HTML and then going and finding it and doing something. No, what this is like my data is actually going to tell my application what virtual DOM to make first. And virtual DOM is amazing because it means I can make components that never actually get to the page but handle concerns. Things like container components that do data fetching, things like higher order components that share functionality throughout our application. Like we have these wonderful tools for now encapsulating our concerns, and our data then just basically describes what we're going to put down onto the page, right? Like I find that to be an amazing way to conceive of web applications, and then React gives me this awesome way of actually building them. So nowadays when I'm working on applications, like I'm thinking about how can I map data in such a way that I get the app I want, right? That's really cool. Before I lose people in the chat, I'm gonna hop back up. Kevin asked, was that a red stripe? No, this was a session logger from Full Sail. They're based out of Hood River here in Oregon. Jen says, how much do you know about RxJS and or observables? I know enough about RxJS to I've done a little bit with it. I've made a few code pens with it. When Ben was talking about mouse movement in his talk, I've done that one. And I love the idea of reactive programming. I think it's really fascinating, especially because it's often called like reactive functional programming, right? The concept of treating your applications as everything as a stream that is responded to is really interesting to me, because most of programming has been about event listeners, and doing reactive programming's more about like, it is event listeners, but it's also event emission, right? Like you need these emitters, like, like I might listen for an Ajax call and respond to that stream, even though it only happens once and stuff like that. I find it really fascinating. I haven't had enough chance to really work with Redux observables, the package that Jay Phelps built over at Netflix to combine Redux and RxJS and React. But I do have the Three Ducks logo on my my laptop because I'm really excited about that idea. I just haven't had the time to do it. Lucas Frosty said, did you see the state of JS? If yes, any thoughts, highlights, anything about it? Yeah, I did see the state of JS. Let's see my thoughts on it. Like, we can pull it up. That's a really great question, Lucas. State of JS 2017. I think some of the interesting things to me on it were specifically that so Preact wasn't kind of put as like a first class citizen. It was kind of thrown in the other. I think this chart here like really said something to me. So this one was library results, and if you look at this, I've never heard of it. I've heard of it and am not interested. Like, this is an interesting category. I've heard of it and would like to learn it. I've used it and would not use it again. So this light purple is interesting. And then I've used it before and would use it again is this dark purple, right? So like Ember here, look how many people have heard of it. More people than anyone else, but they're not interested. And I use Ember for my day job, and I will admit 2 years ago, Ember was the thing I was trying to learn, and I thought maybe like I was just dumb and like I couldn't quite fully grasp it well, and maybe I just wasn't smart enough. And 2 years later now, when I know that I'm much smarter and I understand JavaScript, like I know it's not me that's the problem. I think I find this framework to be just cumbersome. It's not that you can't do things with it. It's cumbersome, and it's like trying to get a really big ship to turn. You just don't turn big ships easily. And so, like, I just find this fascinating that this is what I do. But look over here at React, right? Like, I find this amazing. Like, look at all these people that have heard of it and would use it again. That's amazing to me. People who want to learn it. There's very few people who don't want to know it. It's the smallest of all of these, right? And then right here, like I've used it before and would not use it again. That's such a small portion of people. I'd actually really love to talk to those people. I want to know, but yeah, I find that really fascinating. Vue has like popular numbers. Like, look at all these people wanting to learn it. These are people who are using it again, and I like this, the very low amount of people who would not use it again. I think that's interesting, but, well, it's got a long way to go to catch up. There were some other things in the state management. I kind of felt like this was just like REST API and Redux. Like, I was just like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, you still need REST APIs while using Redux often. So I was a little confused by this. It's like Redux is a front-end state management. REST is not really state management. I mean, it's more like data management, right? Like REST is sending shit to a back end somewhere. At least the way I conceive of it. So I don't know what this was. I felt like that was I felt like that was just incorrect. It just wasn't. It's like apples and oranges, I guess is what I was saying. So yeah, I found some of this stuff really interesting. Bid build tools kind of interesting. Like these don't really like some of these match up. Like Webpack and Rollup would be interesting, but they really have different use cases. Browser 5 versus Webpack would be make more sense. NPM is like a totally different thing. Again, apples and oranges to some degree, but I am glad that they do this. It's kind of neat to see things. If we can go to back, where how do I get to the others? I'm trying to remember. Other answers. There you go. Look at how big my boy Jason Miller, who just he's joining Chrome and working on Chrome, the browser. He's the one who created Preact. Like this thing's a killer. Elm is awesome too. I've used it. Something that kind of bummed me a little bit. I don't know if it's here because it's really it's not quite. Yeah, it's not on here, but I'm really interested in learning Reason ML over the Christmas break. So, but it wouldn't really be in here. It's not really JavaScript. It's a different thing entirely, but it's kind of a competitor to Elm in some ways. So, speaking of Elm, if you don't, I hope I answered your question, Frosty. Speaking of Elm, MD Smithson asks, "Is React in the likes of Elm?" It is in the sense that it's declarative, that it's partially React is partially functional. You can write imperative code if you want, whereas Elm is much more fully functional. What's nice about React is that you don't have to learn a new syntax. Like Elm has its own syntaxes, and it makes sense. You know, concatenation, for example, being different if I remember right. But one thing that is similar between Elm and not React, but specifically Redux, is that Redux borrowed its architecture from the Elm architecture of how to. I believe in Elm you have this concept of sending messages that update state. And in Redux they call them actions, but they basically follow the same one-way data flow with pure functions and immutable data structures. So math is an art, but it's not taught that way in the States. Not sure what that means. Maybe did I say something about math? Maybe I did. And then Software Kitten says, seems like everyone's heard of React. Well, it is very popular. I think it's the library with like the most stars on GitHub. I could be wrong, but Frosty, why don't you tell me what you thought about some of this State of JS stuff in the chat? That would be really interesting. Or anyone else. I hope that was an interesting digression for y'all. I should have maybe switched the scene so you could see my face a little bit more, but it is what it is. All right. So I should be able to refresh this. I haven't changed the state and we're empty, so we don't have anything. Let's make a component that allows us to add a box. I'm going to write things the old school way. Come on. And then here, what are we going to do? This dot set state. We're going to do e dot target dot name. We're going to e.target.value. So we'll do what should be the name of the text area? It should be box text. Yeah, it should be box text. Okay, and then, we'll need this will actually need to be a form. And we'll need an on submit doing something. Everything is a form in front end development, it seems. That's why everyone's still coming up with form solutions, because they'll never get it right. And then, Jen, if you're still around, I'd be really interested to hear this. Is it more accessible to have the input type equal submit, or to have, I believe you can do button type equal submit? I don't know if it makes any difference, but add box. I'd be submit. That's funny. I'd be really interested to hear that. It's always neat to hear information like that. Handle submit. We'll do something. We'll duplicate this line. What will we have handle submit do? Right now, we'll just have it submit our... We're just going to log out our box text. But really, this needs to call add box from our action creators. So we'll work on getting that set up here soon enough. Yeah, I'm going to check back, see if there's any questions. There are not. No questions. Sweet diggity. All right, so let's see. We need to get our ad box from our action creators. And we need to take the text that we get and we'll submit it as a box. That makes sense. I haven't really thought through the actual way of organizing all this stuff yet. So right now I'm just freewheeling it. We'll just import the connect here. We'll import add box from actions. Yeah, we'll just do that. How's your week going so far, people? Is it going well? I've worked from home both days. I worked from home yesterday because I had just gotten back from my trip. I wanted a day to chill. And then today, I was all planning to go to the bus. I'm gonna need prop types. I was all ready to head to the bus, go to work, and my cats were just the saddest sacks of potatoes you've ever seen. I say that a lot, sad sack of potatoes. I'm realizing like they're kind of really bored while we're gone, and I get that, man. It's really made me think a lot. It's made me think a lot about it made me think about my own boredom. It also made me think about like the challenges of having even children, right? Of like finding the time to like entertain them. Like my cats have this small world of my apartment to live in and exist in, and it totally makes sense. I mean, I get bored and I have a wonderful world like waiting for me in the form of, I don't need any state props. That's silly, Kyle. The wonderful world of the internet for me, and I still get bored all the time, right? That's why I'm actually really thankful to be in this career, is for all the learning. But I feel for them. So I think I'm gonna have to spend some time during Christmas break making some whoa, look at this. Making some like cat toys or some shit like that. I want them to be happier. I want everyone to be happier. I want to find a way to be happier. But yeah, it's just really made me think about it. We originally got our second cat to keep company of the first one, and we thought they'd be friends, and they're kind of more like kind of friends, kind of enemies. They can fight pretty bad. Lucas, I was surprised and happy with the growth of VS Code and Prettier on the tools section. All right. Yeah. VS Code's been a huge boom to people. I think a lot of people like the IntelliSense stuff, and people like debugging Node with it a lot. Yeah, Prettier is awesome. I'm using it here. And of course, surprised by the ridiculous growth of Vue, almost bigger than Angular. I kind of picture Vue as like Angular 1 with some nicer syntaxes and stuff. So I think it's awesome. Rachel is saying it's a good day. Excited for the holiday break. Yes, right? I'm actually taking Friday off, so I get an extra day. And then, yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I think so. My wife and I aren't planning to go anywhere. We're not doing anything like that, and we're not actually buying each other any. Uh, it blocks the bottom. Oh, that's right. That's why I always have it over there. Um, what can I do right now? I'll do this. Hold on. We will figure this out. I will get this better. Maybe I can lock it up here for now. I'll lock it up there for now. Thank you for always helping me out, people. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So my wife and I, we're not traveling anywhere. And we're not getting each other gifts this year because we bought ourselves a rowing machine. And that wasn't cheap. And it's been awesome, though. I actually did like a 10-minute row before coming on here. It makes my legs feel 1,000 times better, and it's a good full body workout kind of thing. But yeah, we're not going anywhere, so I think I'm just gonna cook a really awesome dinner. We're gonna make some steaks, and my wife is gonna make like an incredible like dessert. She always finds something amazing to make for dessert. It's pretty awesome. So I think that's what we're gonna do for Christmas. What about y'all? Where you headed in? JS, I can't tell if that's like JS Peck land or JSpec land. How do I feel about TypeScript? The truth is, I haven't really written any TypeScript yet. If you were on Twitter following me, you might have seen about a week ago I said it's time for me to learn TypeScript, because it is. I think there's just too many projects using it, and it's time for me to use it. I think it's a win to some degree. I can definitely see how it's useful for teams or people who are like trying to grok and understand a code base that they're not working in and day out, because it gives them more information, right? Like it helps you understand what a function's doing to see types, and I think that's cool. So I definitely have no negative feelings towards it, and I have some positive feelings, but I just haven't used it enough to give you that. Rachel says, clap, clap, thumb up for the window. I'm still working on it, people. Sorry about that. I'll get better. But yeah. Okay. Well, this you weren't missing much. Maybe I could do that in the future. Like I do. I think I really do prefer it down in the bottom right. It's covering up some of the. It's covering up some of the chat. I'll work on it. And then we need to add the map dispatched props. And like this component has pretty much all the things I need to do except here to actually do this. So this .props.add box. And what goes in a box? I need to remember. Let's look at the action. That's the best way to find it. It takes a position. Oh, we need to change this. We need to have it take some text, some content, right? Is that what we called it in... I think that's what we called it. We can look at the reducer. Yeah, we called it content. So let's have it take a content. I'm still not convinced I love this. TOF James is following. Thank you, James. Thanks for following, man. Feels good. I'm still not convinced I love this position. I kind of hate it, honestly. I don't like the idea of passing an array. There's got to be a better way to do it. I mean, it could be a string that I do some splitting on and find positions that way. But I, at the moment, don't love it. But anyways, so box needs to take content. So let's pass that in too. And then here, when we call add box, it's going to be action.content. Yeah. Next week maybe I'll take the time to write some tests. Like, we should do that. If no content's given, I don't know how that would happen, but I'm just going to do that for now. But we'll do this dot state dot box text. And we won't pass a position for now. Needs position somehow. I know how we'll do it once we have a box, but our first box will not have a position. It'll just default to 0, 0. That's what we want. We want our first box to go in the center of our screen eventually, and then all our other boxes to populate around it based on what you click and that kind of thing. So JSpecLand says, I'm a huge fan of it in Angular 2+. I tried a React Redux project with it, but typing the actions was problematic. I probably didn't wrestle with it long enough before giving up. There are TypeScript projects out there, JSpecLand. In fact, Create React App allows you to start a React project with TypeScript. So there's got to be some material out there for you to figure it out. I wish you the best of luck. You probably know tons much more than I do about it. Well, you do know tons more than I do, but I'm sorry it was problematic, as I will always say for people, because let's face it, what we do is frustrating. It makes sense, that it's frustrating. This stuff is hard. But I think we should all have some empathy for people going through challenges of learning, and then just give them the tools, or wish them the best of luck, or that kind of thing. That's how we can be supportive. Be there to listen to an appropriate amount of bitching, and be there to be okay, quit your bitching, get back out there, get on the grind, figure it out. I know some of you watching tonight know a little bit about wanting to tell some people to quit their bitching, but I digress. I don't know what this dilly thing is, Bob. Is this another you guys can't see it yet on the stream. It'll get up there, but Bob has posted this dilly picture. Here, I'm gonna make it visible for people. You know what? Maybe I can just do this. I'm afraid of losing things quickly though if I do that. See, I'm afraid of y'all talking so fast that I don't catch it. So it's from the Bud Light. I don't watch TV anymore. That's why I don't know these things. I'm such a Luddite. But it's good to know. I'm such a Luddite. I still have an iPhone 5. It works. Battery life's still good. I could get an upgrade, but why would I dump money on something that I don't need? I don't know. I'm not trying. I don't. I'll put it this way. I shouldn't say don't need. I want to be respectful of people who feel like that's something they want to spend their hard-earned money on, and it's something that brings joy to their lives, and maybe it's something they're passionate about. Maybe they actually really love having new fancy technology. That's great. I don't prioritize phones that way. So that's just a little bit about me. That's how I'm going to try and be respectful of both people groups, I should say. Man, we are not going to get stuff done today, are we? But we're having fun. I hope you're having fun. I'm having fun chatting with y'all. Literally, this is such a fun time for me. This is a chance for me to honestly, I get to hear things that I don't hear otherwise. I get to hear what people are working on, TypeScript stuff, or checking out the state of JS. It's really great to get to kind of hear your opinions through this medium. I really appreciate it. Okay. Trying to figure out where we're going to be. So we got the boxes container. And right now it just shows boxes. So you know what? We need to build up the boxes container a bit. Not the container, but like this area. Like the boxes area needs to have more. Like we'll need something like here. We'll need to be like honestly, we can add like here we need a button to trigger start making your boxes, right? Like your first box. Man, I should really think this through. You know what I'm gonna do for y'all, since I'm not thinking this through and I'm just half-assing it. I'm not like half-ass, but like it just doesn't feel great to me. Maybe it feels fine to you, but I can do better. I know I can. So what I'm gonna try and do during the break, like I get Christmas to New Year's Eve off. During that break, I'm gonna try and conceive of like an actual application we could try and build and try and stay focused on. And that way we kind of have a game plan going forward. I'll make a new repo for it, all that stuff. So that's what I'll do. Frosty says, why waste your money with phones when you can waste with beer? Cheers. Cheers to that. I've actually been drinking a little bit less this winter too, though. I'm not trying to lose weight specifically, but it's nice to not like. It's just so easy to overdrink in the winter because it gets dark so early. There's nothing to do. It's easy to put on 10 pounds really fast. But I'm with you, man. I love me some beer. I think my cat is trying to scratch at the door. I may have to let her in. All right. I need a button. I need like a button that says, oh, my cat was let in. We'll see if she jumps up here like she did last week. Man, it's getting hot in here. I don't know why, but it is. So I'm busting out the Hacktober shirt. How many of you participated in Hacktober? Any of you? All right. I need a button here that will like trigger the add box stuff. God, I haven't thought this through at all. I'm so sorry, people. So sorry. I feel like a disappointment right now. Not in a serious way. Like I don't actually feel like a horrible disappointment of a person. I know that's not true, and I won't beat myself up that way. But I do feel like I'm not living up to my own standards. Prop types wasn't defined. That's totally true. I forgot to import it. But you know, it's okay. I've kind of had a long few weeks here, and I think it's okay that I wasn't fully ready for something. What do y'all? You forgive me? Will you forgive me? Okay, we got our form. We got this. Oh, well, that was bad. We just added a box without intending to add a box. Well, I mean, this will show you something. So we need to prevent the default. So I don't know if you caught it there, but it did a refresh of the page. And then you know what? Content should always be something. So I'll get rid of that. And we'll do if this dot state. You know what? I will pop it out after the prevent default. We'll do const box text equals this dot state. That's destructuring for people not familiar with JavaScript. It's a way to get properties off of objects in a nice clean way. But if we have some box text, or actually, I guess maybe length, because an empty string would be true, and we did set it to that. Yeah, we'll do that. We're gonna just add the box like that. Yeah. So if we don't have anything, let's we're gonna have to clear our our local storage to get rid of that box. But now it's not doing anything. And then we add a box. Hello! We add a box. And hey, we're already making some progress we didn't have before. You know what? We can do another one. We needed to clear that, so if that happens, this dot set state, we're gonna set box text to an empty string again. You want outside, don't you? You want it in, no, you want it out. It's the typical life of a cat, right? Can't make up their mind. Y'all following me on this, right? We're preventing the default submission. We're destructuring box text. We're checking that the string has any length. If it has length, we're gonna fire the add box function that's been added by props through Redux. And then when that works, we are going to clear the box text state, right? So, boom. Okay, so we're adding boxes. We're getting somewhere. Let's see. No one said anything. Cool. We can go a little further. We can do, for example, disabled can equal this dot state dot box text dot length, right? Or not, I should say. We'll see if prettier. Yeah. So like right now, let's see. That should reload. And see how it's grayed out? I can't do anything until I add something. It'll be like from Portland. So that's a nice little thing we can add. Yeah. So add box is kind of doing what I want, but I eventually want to be able to trigger add box from other buttons. I'm gonna check on my cat if y'all give me a minute. Looks like my wife came and sneakily let her out. My wife is really cool like that. I should have her on stream one of these days so she can like just poke fun at me while I chat with y'all. Okay, so our add box works. I don't know where else I was passing add box. I think I got it all the way down to the boxes, right? Like handle click. Yeah. So when the box gets clicked, right? I'm passing it down, but I wasn't doing it. Where was it? Boxes. Each box gets a box and a handle click. I wasn't doing anything with it. So box here gets a handle click. So one of the things I want to do with box is I want to have 4 buttons on it. And those buttons will correspond to the top, the bottom, the right, and the left. And for right now, like I'll eventually want like arrows in them, I think. Or they could be plus signs, I guess. But so my idea is so eventually the first one will go like in the center of the screen, and then in order to add things like this will disappear. This would only be there for the first one, right? You get your first idea down, and then after that, like when you have other ideas, you're gonna click one of the 4 buttons around the box, or like kind of on the edges of the box, if that makes sense. You'll click one of them and it'll bring up the form to add the next one, and when you save it, it'll go in the right position. And each one will have buttons allowing you to add things. Now, some edge cases we're going to get with that are we can choose to, and probably the best way to do this would be to choose to disable the direction that already has something there. So like if I have a box below another one, like we'd want the down button gone, like not even showing. So somehow the boxes will have to have some like cognizance, some state of somehow. More like when we pass our data through and down, we'll tell the boxes to render in a certain way, so the boxes themselves don't really need to know, but like that's essentially what'll happen. Like we'll have to traverse some kind of maybe object of positions to do that. So, but yeah, in fact, yeah, let's work towards that. That's what we're gonna work towards. I'm gonna get it so that we can remove the add box. Um, I'm gonna remove the first add box once we have boxes, but I'm gonna put an add box inside of each one of these. It's gonna be a bit cray cray, but or maybe I'll have the add box pop up in a modal. That'll be nice. I've not actually used modals very much in React, so I'm sure that'll be something we can learn together. There's tons of great libraries out there, or maybe we can learn how to use portals in React 16 together, and we could work on making modals that way. So let's make a button. I don't know what I want to do this. Color, background color, teal. Oh, you know what I'm going to try and do? I'm going to see if I can't use before and afters to create like a cross of some sort for an ad. We'll give it a width of like 15 pixels, a height of 15 pixels, a border radius of 50%. So that'll give us a circle, and then we'll position relative. Oh, I do miss my Emmet when I'm doing this. Can we do before and after? What a content of this. We'll give it a width of like 10 pixels, height of 4 pixels, a border radius of those 4 pixels. I kind of want rounded ends. I think 4 might be too. I'll give it 2. Give it half the height. That should work. And then we'll make the before. We'll position both in the center. Absolute top. I can do it the cheap way, I guess. No, I'll do it the way I like doing it. 50% left, 50%. Transform will be a trans. Do I need to do this? I'm trying to think in my head. So that has moved them to the center. I do need to translate it. Translate X. Spot Dogs is following. Thank you, Spot Dogs. Good to see that. Let's see. I want to translate it in both ways. Yeah. And then before, we'll add another transform. We'll need to do the translate 50%, 50%, but we'll also need to rotate 90 degrees. I don't know if this is going to quite be what I expect, but that'll work. And then the box itself will actually need to be position relative. So actually this needs to be position absolute. That's fine. Or I could give the buttons a wrap and make that absolutely positioned to do this. It's fine. Like this will treat that as its relative, even though it's absolute. So we'll just stick with this for now. I kind of want this content in the center too. Um, but I need a way of determine. Right now, we're just gonna have one button for now. And it won't do anything, I guess. Yeah, we'll just do this for now. In fact, I'm just going to remove that for the moment. See what happens. I messed something up. What did I mess up? I didn't have it closed properly. Oh, that's my own fault. Ooh, box text equals. I wonder what that is about. When did that happen? Okay. So I've got a button here. Cool. All right. Code Rachel is happy about my cat. Pavithra Code Mad says, hey, what you doing? To catch anybody up who's just joined recently, what I'm doing is I'm just hacking through building some kind of talk planner application. I had this inspiration to do this last week. I haven't really thought about it since last week, so unfortunately I'm not as on my A game or prepared as I might normally be. But what I am trying to do is I have this idea to create an app where like you set one idea and then you can brainstorm in any direction you need to. And right now we're just adding UI components and a little functionality, and all we're doing is we're storing it to local storage for now, so we can actually look at Redux. And if we check out the state here, you can see that I have, I have 3 boxes. Maybe something we can get to by the end of the night is we can like delete a box. So our boxes, they each get a unique identifier that we're eventually going to use in our routes to be able to edit them. They get a position because I have this idea of eventually positioning them somehow. But right now it just defaults to 0, 0. And then they have some content. This content can be whatever it needs to be. But eventually these will be editable and stuff. But we haven't gotten that far yet. But yeah. Yeah, kind of like a flow chart to some degree. It's really meant to be similar to... so if you've ever used slides.com to make a presentation, I'll log in real quick to show you what I'm talking about. By the way, if you've ever wanted slides for my talks, like a lot of my talks are on here. They're on slides.com. You can look up slides.com/Kyle Shevlin. This one was redone in Spectacle, but some of these talks are on here. But let's pop this one down. Improving at JavaScript interviews. If we go to the edit mode, yeah, Spot Dog's a little bit more like a mind map. I just I'm sure there's better ways to do it, but I'm just kind of hacking through, and I kind of figured as we do, there's definitely going to be things we come across in React that are worth teaching to beginners. But I really need to take a little bit of time and actually plan out what I'm doing. Like, this is how I plan. I need to sit down with like pen and paper and really come up with a design and how we're actually going to accomplish it. I don't have that in my head yet, so that's why I kind of feel off my game. But we'll figure it out. I'm also not very good at like actually finishing applications, which is actually why I started streaming in the first place. I started streaming not to teach, but I love teaching. I love it. That's why I ended up teaching. But I want to build something like this. You see how like you can walk around the slides in 2 dimensions? I really like this, and yeah, I just think it would be really cool to be able to build like a mind map that kind of matches this functionality. What do you think? What do y'all think of that? Like that I just thought that would be like a cool little application. And I've never tried building something quite like it. we can eventually build it. I'm using the keyboard. We can build it to use the keyboard to navigate. I mean, I've never even like dove in. It'd be kind of interesting to look at this, the CSS behind this, see if it'll let me do that. I mean, yeah, they've got all sorts of things here going on, but it could be interesting. Like, I don't know if they're like, one thing is maybe they're moving the whole like box. Yeah, so this view on slides.com is if you click the stack over here. You see this stack of like pancakes? Let's see if it gets any bigger if I zoom in. Yeah, it's not really pancakes, they're squares, but you see this? That's what you're looking for. You're looking for the stack of squares for that view. But yeah, like I love doing that because like when I plan out a talk, like I've actually done it where and which is why I'm building the app, is like I have talk ideas, but I don't necessarily need slides yet, and I don't need pictures, but I've literally like taken a giant piece of paper, like a paper like this big, right? And I just like write down an idea somewhere, and then I just start like, okay, I categorize it this way, and then I'm like, new topic, and then like this, and it actually makes building out slides, once you're finally ready to do that, really easy to do, because you've kind of conceived of the talk and the order. Like, I think that's the thing, right? Talks are not as linear in conception. I mean, they can be, but like a lot of times you end up having like some convergence of ideas over time. Like you have an idea over here, you have an idea over there, and eventually they kind of come together, and sometimes you need to start with these apart and work towards whatever evolution of ideas comes about. So hey, I've got a kitty again. She's down here on the floor. Tally, do you want to come say hi to people? Do you want to say hi to people? I don't think she does, but I'm going to give this a try. She might be really mad. Come here, girl. Can I hold it? She wasn't super happy about that. But everybody, this is, go ahead, put your paws up. This is Tally. Oh, she just stomped the keyboard. Hi, Tally. And Tally didn't want to stick around. She just wants some food. Her dinner is in about 30 minutes. Yes, we have 2 tuxedo cats. So if y'all are familiar with the Mass Effect series, our cats are named after Thane Krios from Mass Effect 2 and Tali Zaravas Normandy. I like saying her full name from the whole series. So if we get a dog, our dog will probably be named Grunt after the Krogan from the third game. Let's go fix that nasty box.js handle click. Oh, I'm not doing anything with it yet. And I didn't say anything about it. Handle click. Prop types.func is required. That should keep it quiet. If it reloads, come on, reload. Now it'll have one more thing. We didn't use it. We need to pass on click handle click. And I actually think handle click is expecting something, but we'll figure it out eventually, because this isn't quite the right thing. Like, this will click add box and it should fail. Yeah. Converting circular structure to JSON. Yeah, I kind of expected something wrong to be there. So, what do I want to do? What is handle click even looking like? Boxes, handle click. That got passed into boxes. That came from boxes container. That's the add box. Oh, I don't really want to add box that way. I'm going to need something that opens a modal. I'm just gonna remove it for now. We're not gonna pass it in this way. We'll get rid of it down the chain. Oops. Okay, boxes don't need it no more. A box won't have this, but we will do something here. Okay. We're getting somewhere. We're making some progress. It's just not as much as I had hoped. Okay. I want 4 buttons. So we'll just... In fact, I will give them a wrap. Div class name equals buttons. Buttons wrap. I don't know that I need to do that, but I'll use emotions to make a class. We can do, or I can just make the div instead of a class. That's silly. Make the div, Kyle. Do the thing. This is really my first time using emotion on a large level. Like, I still love writing Sass. I find it very comfortable and easy to use. But, you know, this is how you grow. You force yourself to do things that are outside your comfort zone. Now I need to check the chat. I need to do more of this. Just hack away at ideas to get more practice. I've been learning React and Redux mostly by watching Udemy courses. Yeah, you know, so I kind of have this theory, like you build side projects to learn. You don't build them to be famous. I mean, if you get famous, that's awesome. Or if you come up with like a really cool application that you can put out in the world or you can make money with, like, that's great. But honestly, like, you build to learn. That's how I look at it. If I'm going to spend this time learning, like, I'm doing it to not just improve myself, but really I'm improving at skills that I think are going to make me more marketable, skills that are going to lead to better opportunities. And just getting better at React is going to lead to better opportunities for me and probably for a lot of you too. So, you know, like, you don't have to do big things. Like, and you don't have to spend 8 hours a day coding. Just spend a few. Like, let me show you Spot Dogs, which course he's going through. Steve, I've heard that one's a really good one. Looks like y'all are having a good convo on that. I don't need to interrupt that. That's awesome. So I show people this, and I'm not doing it to brag. It's just it is a little bit of a point of pride for me, but I thought I made some contributions today. I guess I didn't. So I'll have to fix that. Oh, okay. That was some weird off by 1 error. Where it showed me an extra day that hadn't happened yet. But look at this streak, people. I've had a commit every day since the start of May. I'm doing pretty darn good. But the point is, like, you can make a lot of stuff if you can just do a little bit each day, or at least learn a lot of stuff if you can do a little bit each day. So, I mean, I like it when I have these dark days. They feel great to, like, think of 1,000 things and do them. But, like, what's more important than, like doing a lot is doing a lot over time. That's how you learn. Like, I'm going to bust this string out because it's way too long. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Long string. I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm just doing it to be silly, but... Okay. But yeah, like, okay. When people ask, like, how do you get to be a senior developer? Like, some of it is, like, learning concrete skills, learning advanced techniques, maybe. Not really, but it really kind of comes down to, like, a couple things. Your ability to problem solve, like, to get shit done, like... Your ability to not get stuck, your ability to work with others, like those things get you there. But the other thing is like people want to get to a place, but they don't realize like you just learn things through time sometimes, and you have to be patient. Um, like as you go through your careers and you work on your jobs, right? Like you're just gonna hit scenarios no one else has hit other than maybe a few people, and you'll learn a lesson, and now you have that, and you won't even realize like why that's valuable, but there'll be another time where your expertise is useful and necessary, and you will bring that to the table. And that's how you gain those skills, is just doing it all the time. So there's really no shortcut for just doing a lot of different things. Go do a lot of things, right? So all right. So we're getting somewhere. I now should have 4 boxes sitting around. Okay, I do. I've got 4 buttons. They should all do the same thing. So I've got buttons wrap. It's relative. And I've got button. I wonder, there's got to be a way to take in a prop, I think, on emotion. So I'm going to look this up. Emotions built by my buddy Kai Hohenberger. He's a really good dude. I'm gonna look for props. Create composable styles with CSS classes and props. Styling components with style. We'll check this. I think there's a way to get yeah, you can just get props out of it. So what we want to do is here. This is also positioned absolutely, but we want to get like its top, its bottom, its left and right from props. I'm just trying to think how I want to do this. Yeah, same syntax as style components, but even more performant. So it's pretty nice. I want one at the top and I want one at the bottom, and the left and right. So what I can actually do is I can determine it solely based on props. And we will return props at scale. So I can just return a string here with whatever I want, but I'll do I will do, what do I want to pass in? I want to give it a name, props dot, and I'm going to treat it like a switch case, like switch props dot position. Oh no. Case top. We need to return top 0 and left 50%, and a transform of translate x negative 50%. There might be a better way to do this, people. I'm just thinking out loud. Case left We'll do right. We'll go around the corner. And I don't even need, this can just be a normal string. There's got to be a better way. No one's coming up with an answer for me, so that's fine. I will do top 50%, halfway down, right 0, transform, translate y, negative 50%. Case bottom, return bottom 0. We'll do it from the left, 50%, transform, translate x. Does anyone, I hope y'all understand why I'm doing the left and the translate. It'll allow it to the left will push it all the way. So left 50% gets it to the center, but like with the left side of the element. I know I'm kind of saying this backwards to you. It's like to me. So it's pushed too far, and translating at 50% is the width of the element itself, so it gets it back to center. So we push it past center, and then we transform the element onto center. That's how this trick works, and that's why down here, like I do this, because what it'll do is it'll move it to the center but low, and then transform just the elements and get them back up. Oh, you know what? I never gave a background of these. That's why I never saw it. Background color white. That's great. Case left will be a return. What we'll do, left is a top of 50%, a left of 0, and a transform y of translate y negative 50%. Okay, and then for default, I don't know how we would do this, but we'll just return an empty string. I think that'll work. I don't know why it did that. I don't like that. Respect my white space. Son of a bitch. It doesn't want to respect my white space. That's odd. Well, we'll see what it's doing. Cool, you fixed it. Yeah, I thought the same. Doing a switch case in style. Man, look at the power. Yeah. This should, I mean, I think this will work. I've never tried it. We're making it up as we go. We'll put this one, what was it? What did I call it? Position? Yeah, position. Top. Position. You know what? Let's do this programmatically. Top. Right. Left. And bottom. Left. Hey, that's pretty good. Our wrap needs to be the full height. Let's put our button, let's move our button wrap up before our button. What can I do to make it the full height of the box? Oh, well, I can just do width, set height 100%. I could do that, but that's not going to really do what I want. This is also going to have to be positioned absolutely. And we'll do top 0, right 0, bottom 0, left 0. We're going to need to do some z-indexing stuff to get this to work, but that'll take up the full this height of the box. And so we're getting pretty close to what I actually want. And like we can kind of like, actually I'm gonna make this change for a new box to the, oh yeah, that's what I'll do. Oh, that's not quite right. No, that's going to invoke it immediately. That's better. See if I got this right this time. Oh, didn't reload. Let's see. Would have to switch classes with normal CSS. Nice CSS skills though, I do. So, to be perfectly honest, my first 3 years as a dev were pretty much all, I mean, they were mostly all custom CSS. I've never actually used a Bootstrap or a Foundation in my life. I worked for some design agencies basically that made some really challenging stylistic designs, and so I just have a breadth of CSS knowledge that it seems the average JS dev doesn't have, which I find surprising, but it's okay. Everyone has their strengths and weaknesses. Positon is not defined. There's a typo. But yeah, I'm really strong at CSS, and which is why I can feel pretty comfortable putting all my focus into getting better at JavaScript. And also why in like 2018 my main focus will be on becoming better at building tools and libraries. That's what I really like to get better at. I feel pretty solid with all this. Like, you give me enough time, I can build you a I can build you whatever UI you want for the most part. I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying like that's what I've done. And you know, when you want to get better at stuff, you have to you have to come up with a vision of like what your life's going to be and where you want to take your career. Like I think some people are just really happy to write code. Like I think you should spend some decent amount of time imagining maybe what you want to do next. And for me, I'd like to spend some time learning how to write like software. I think I can. I just haven't really had opportunities to do that. But I kind of want to make a distinction between like UI development and software development. And I really want to get better at software and like writing tools and like, you know, just having the courage even just to build like systems and that kind of thing for people. Like, you know, like, yeah, I'd really like to do that. And so I'm going to try and find ways to do more of that in 2018. I think in the long run, I'd really love to own my own business at some point. I'm not the greatest employee. Just I meant to. I just do. I don't know how to put it. If I don't care about what I'm doing, I really struggle to be motivated. Right? Like in a good employee, just you give them a task and they have to do it, or like they help out the team or whatnot. Like when I don't have like the autonomy to really make my decisions, like I really struggle with uh, caring about my work. And so I think at some point, like I just have to have full ownership over what I'm doing or what the people working with me are doing and that kind of thing. So I kind of see that in my future. Pavithra asks, in JavaScript or some other language. I think I'm going to stick with JavaScript for now. But I'm happy to learn whatever like kind of makes sense. But yeah, I love JavaScript, and I would love to learn how to keep building tools in that. But yeah, we've made some really great progress on this. At least the UI is starting to look kind of what I want. I want to fix this. I'm not sure why that isn't quite where I want it to be. I do have the cross though going on. I'm pretty happy with that. It looks like this transform isn't okay. No, this transform's working. Okay, so that's working. Maybe let's see. Okay, it looks like the transform is only working on... I have so many layers of transform. So this is the button. This is what's transforming its position. The before is being transformed. Oh, I have a positive 50. That's part of it. In fact, that's why it's not right. These should both be negative 50. I feel the same way. I work for an advertising agency, and their web work I do is just basic WordPress Joomla, so I'm learning front-end dev on the side because it's interesting. It is interesting. I'm glad you're learning it. And let me know how I can help, Spot Dogs. If there's topics that would be useful, that would be awesome. We can cover that. We're just going to go with, instead of 2 pixels, this is also 50%. Just make it fully round. Make it much thinner. So it actually looks like more like a cross. Yeah. Maybe I'll get rid of the border radius. It's not quite doing what I want it to do. And 2 pixels might be a little thick. We'll give it 1 pixel. The truth is I would probably eventually do this with SVG, but for right now, this looks and works great. So maybe one last thing I'd like is I don't really want these to show until the box is hovered on. So what we can do, this really bugs me. You know what? I can just make a function. It's prop switch. Damn it, stop it. Anyone know how I can make prettier listen to me? I hate that. It's ugly. God. How can I get around that? It's literally going to bother me to death. I think I can just do that. Man. Talk about a buzzkill. Okay. I don't know why it's doing that. Like, prettier should respect. I don't know why prettier is doing that. Oh well. Oh well. I can't change it. Okay. What was I trying to do? I was trying to say don't okay, yeah, button wrap. Yeah. Opacity 0, transform position opacity 0.3 seconds ease, and hover opacity 1. What did I messed up some big. Props is not defined. Huh. Interesting. So you're saying instead of doing this, okay. And apparently I have to do it this way. I love how y'all like tell me the same thing I come up with. I love it. Okay, see, that's not too bad. Maybe add some cursors to the buttons. We could add some hover to it to change the background color. I don't know. I forget how to do. This is where I miss SAS. SAS would allow me to do something like this. I'll have to figure a way to. We'll just make it blue for now, or yeah, blue will work. Yeah, I do miss that from SAS. Very nice little effect there. I'll make it better at some point. Cool. So I am using Sublime Text with Oceanic Next with a modified theme. I modified it myself. You can actually, if you're watching this on Twitch, like actually, if you look down at the panels, I should make mention of this. You can see what I'm using. I mentioned I'm using Sublime Text, my theme. What terminal I use. I also use Alfred and Dash. Occasionally, you'll see me look up like JavaScript, like slice, like learning that. It's not no worries. Don't feel bad. You just got in here, no big deal. But it is a common question, so I thought I'd answer it there. And then now y'all, as my followers, y'all can help other people. You can be like, look at the panels, and you can tell them for me. As you might see, I stream either on Tuesdays or Wednesdays, depending on how my week looks, and occasionally I'll do an extra one if like my wife is out of town or with friends or something like that. But that's when I typically stream. I stream mostly about React right now. I'm happy to do some other things eventually as we get through it, but just trying to teach people things and maybe build some things. Some nights are really more about instruction. Some nights are like this, where I'm just kind of hacking through some shit. And then you might see that I've added a little donation thing. I don't actually expect anyone to donate anything. I make good money. I don't need your money to do what I'm doing. That being said, I wouldn't say no if you wanted to it's like maybe treat it like a Patreon kind of thing. Maybe I will sign up for Patreon. Maybe we can build some cool stuff. I'm even thinking of maybe there's some way I can donate things or raise money for other things too, for like maybe an organization. Like for example, this is just off the top of my head, but I had an organization reach out to me because I have a podcast, right? I run Second Career Devs. Go check that out. It's just that's literally the website, secondcareerdevs.com. This is also built on React. I actually thought about like using some time tonight to work on this because I got to make updates to it. But please, like, if you go check this out, like somebody reached out to me called Vets Who Code. It's a code like school boot camp for veterans to like change their lives and get their careers going when they get back home. Like, I think it'd be totally cool one night to do something where like, you know, any donations go to that, or any donations go to this or that. I just don't know off the top of my head, but that could be kind of cool. You know, some of the stuff I've been teaching, like, people are pushing me to put it into like Egghead.io and that kind of thing, and I think they're right. I think there's definitely a monetary value to what I'm adding to the community, but like a night like tonight, like, yeah, I get that, but I'm just pointing it out. So just so y'all know, I've added stuff to the panels. I'm trying to be a better Twitch streamer. You can tell me how good or bad I'm doing, by the way. I will take any constructive feedback. Don't be a troll. I don't feed trolls. I will literally just ignore you. So we have that one Russian bot that comes in almost every week that does that. So anyways, looks like it's almost 10 o'clock, people. If you're new to the stream, I typically go about 2 hours, and I start at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard, and I go to about 10, so I can spend the rest of the night with my lovely wife and my cats, as you see. And actually, the food dispenser is about to go off, so my cat's going to go nuts. But at this time of the night, I generally like to let people know, hey, I'm going to shut up. I'm going to close up shop in like 10 minutes. So if you have any questions for me specifically, now's your chance to ask them. So let me know. And this is looking pretty. I like this. We can make it a little bit better. Well, thank you, Blumpkin. Blumpkin says, your stream is engaging. Most programming streamers are kind of in their own world, understandably. Yeah, you know, I could do that kind of stream where I'm just doing my thing and y'all are there, but that's not the point, right? Like, I mean, maybe that's cool for some viewers. See, automatic cat feeder. Did you hear that? Did you hear it go off? There you go. You know, maybe that's great for some streams. There are some people out there, maybe they're so brilliant, all you want to do is watch what they do. But for me, like, this whole thing has always really been about, to some degree, not feeling lonely. Like, I'm an extrovert, so to some degree I'm getting interaction through you people. Believe it or not, like, it's fun for me to do this. I also love like public speaking, so it's another way of me doing that. I'm weird like that. I like speaking. But yeah, I think like, to me, this is about a community, and this is about it's not about finishing things always. It's about being able to like help each other get better at what we're doing. Oh, my phone just told me to go to bed. Spot Dog says, I really appreciate that you take the time to talk, to chat, provide advice, and just be down to earth about everything. Well, thank you, Spot Dogs. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you for like saying stuff in the chat to me. I like, part of this to me is like, I don't want to keep Twitch open and try and like chat with y'all. Like, that's not how I want to run this show. I want to, like, if you ask a serious question, I want to give it an appropriate amount of time, right? That's what I like doing. Blumpkin again says, I'm relatively new to most of this, so it's nice to see your reasoning behind your code. Makes understanding like 100 times easier. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm working on a talk idea. I need to submit it. Jen, if you're still watching, you need to get on my ass to submit this to Chain React. But I want to submit a talk about like how learning to Twitch stream will actually make you better at job interviews, pair programming. Like like, you need to be able to, like, sure, you could watch me and maybe grok what I'm doing, but if I'm actually teaching my material, like I need to explain what I'm doing, and I need to be able to explain what I'm doing, and I need to be able to talk and type like at the same time to some degree, right? I know not everyone has maybe that skill, but if you were to practice doing it week in and week out like I do, like you'd get better at it. Like for example, like I feel like I do pretty good at that part of an interview because I've practiced talking through what I'm writing many more times than the average person. Doesn't mean I have the right answer. In fact, there's plenty of people who are much stronger devs than me. Um, but I'm at least able to kind of be like, okay, these are the problems at hand. This is how I'm going to attempt to solve it. This is what I'm going to do, right? Like, I think that's one of the strengths of practicing doing Twitch week in and week out. I need more beer. You can hear it in my voice. But yeah, dude, I'm nice. It's silly. I've been doing this for a little over I've been coding for about 6 years now. 4 professionally, maybe a year and a half before that, so like 5.5. And like I still get joy out of like the simplest interaction, like doing this. Let's move the text to the center. We can do that with display, flex, justify, content, center, align, items, center. We can give it some padding too. We'll give it some padding of like 10 pixels around. No, we'll give it 15. And I want to move the zeros here just a few pixels. So we'll move it like 3 pixels just to get it off the edge. The padding on the box will help make sure this never goes too far. Yeah, it's looking... I like that. That's pretty nice. I mean, we'll make those buttons better. I'll make them with SVG. They'll be nice and crisp at some point, but it's pretty cool. Like, thank you for watching. Ooh, text align center. So, if you're wondering, I do have some madness to my ordering of CSS. I tend to follow the box model, or to some degree, some like what are important. I don't know. I've just done it so many years, but on my team, we've started to do alphabetical ordering. I think that makes a lot of sense when you work on a team to order your CSS properties alphabetically. It's just the fastest way for people to get them rather than to learn some arbitrary order. Just my 2 cents. I don't love it because really, like, I hate it in the sense of these things don't, like, I like to write related things together, but I have an order in my head, so I never write duplicate properties, and I know what I'm trying to accomplish, but when you're working on a team, like, that doesn't always work. So a lot of times I write it the way it is, and I just use like style and fix to do that. But yeah. All right, people, I got about 5 more minutes I'm going to stick on. Let me know if you have any more questions or anything else you want to say. I think what we will try and do next week is we will try, if I keep doing this, I might switch to something else, but if I keep doing this, I will try, and we're going to get it so like these buttons actually maybe pop open a modal that has the add box thing, and the button will, like, depending on the position of the button, it'll supply the right next position. So essentially, we'll from the props on the box, we'll get the current position of this box, and then we'll increment or decrement in the correct direction for the next position we'll pass to the next box. So like in this case, if this was 0, 0, this one would add a box at 1, 0, 1x and y of 0, right? Whereas this would be 0, 1, this would be negative 1, 0, this would be 0, negative 1, right? So that's kind of how I'm thinking about it. But other than that, like I do have like, let's pull up that Trello board. It might be nice to get back into teaching some React stuff. I know that's what y'all really are here for, and I want to make sure you're getting the best education you can out of this. So there's lots of things we can do. These two really kind of go together: compound components and React Children API. That could be a really nice lesson to learn. I think testing would be really great. We have enough things in here that we could actually do some testing. And I'll be honest, testing is not my strongest suit. I'm probably like middle of the pack tester. So to some degree, we could be learning together. Windowing is really cool. One of the cool things about React is like, because things are rendered to a virtual DOM first before they become like real DOM, we can actually figure out like what will be on the screen, or rather maybe like in a box, and we can say, hey, excuse me, wow, I just had to yawn real bad. We can say like, hey, don't render the items that won't be on the screen. It's really way to increase performance. Like if you have a long list of thousands of items, you can be like, I only need you to render any 25 of these, right? And so it's really kind of a neat way to increase the performance of like big data sets or like tables or stuff. There's a whole library devoted to this called React Virtualized. That's really quite awesome. Give me 1 second, please. There you go, girl. Y'all like my sweatpants? Oh, man, you gotta get the sweats on when when it's late at night. But yeah, we can build some other things. I TypeScript and Flow are on there. Maybe we can work on that. Jen wanted to talk about accessibility at some point. She's totally right. It's worth doing. Like she was dealing with some problems today. I couldn't believe she was dealing with. Like, people use buttons. If it's gonna be clicked, it's either a button or a link. It is not a div. That was a dramatic pause, but seriously, like, use buttons. Or even practical things like pull request reviews. Like, everyone should learn how to do that at some point. So yeah, I think that's what I got for y'all tonight. I'll stay on for a couple minutes. If y'all have a question, let me know. Otherwise, as I do every week, I want to thank you for hanging out with me tonight. I really appreciate it. You could be spending your time doing whatever, but I really appreciate you taking the time to like spend a little bit of time with me and hang out. You know, this isn't always the easiest job. It's sometimes a lonely job, and I really like trying to work on building relationships and community so that we support each other. That's kind of what I see my role as on Twitter, is like to be supportive to other people. I'm probably never going to write like the most amazing library in the world, but I can be encouraging, right? And so can you. You can be uplifting to the people around you. Help out people who are learning stuff. There's plenty of things, like even a beginner, you might know something that someone else doesn't. Never be afraid to help someone out, especially in our industry, right? Like, we're all just trying to get better at this and do good work. So, again, thank you for spending your time with me. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed the stream. I'll bring my A game next week. Sorry this wasn't maybe the best episode, but I hope you got something from it, and I hope you learned something. Oh my golly, that was such a big question. Oh my gosh, that was such a big question. There's no way I'm gonna. Y'all are gonna see Inception right here, because the only way I'm gonna get. No, it's not even gonna show up on the stream. Ah, shoot, man. Okay, we're gonna try and catch what I can. Maybe, I don't know how to put it. A state programmer, maybe. I mean, everything that I think. So you think that it's dangerous because it gives React a dependency? Do you think that's good since I've learned how to build you on a very modern pattern? Well, I don't know who asked it, and I don't know what you're fully saying, but I wouldn't think of state management as a React dependency. I think there are state management tools that go really well with React. Like, you can use MobX, you can use Redux, you can roll your own. I think state management is just a necessary part of building complex JavaScript applications in general. Um, not every app you're going to build needs it. Sometimes you're just building like a landing page for someone that needs very little interactivity. In that case, whoa, the yawn hit me hard. In that case, React's overkill probably, and you don't need it. But in terms of like when you're building kind of a complex UI, right? Like giving some forethought to how you're going to manage the state around your app will go a long way. I want people to be willing to use set state when it's appropriate. Like these boxes here, like the form, right? This makes no sense to store this value in Redux. Redux doesn't need to know it. My whole application doesn't need to know it. But the boxes themselves, like, yeah, my whole application needs to know it, right? And so it makes a lot of sense to store certain things in one place and others. And things like this disabled state, like that makes no sense to put in Redux either, right? So I don't know about a React dependency. I don't think that's dangerous anyway. I think it's just okay, that's not what it is. Frosty, don't worry about it. There's nothing to feel sorry about. It's literally my own fault. I wrote the CSS for the chat so it was large enough I could read it from a distance. Don't feel sorry. I really don't want anyone to feel sorry for asking a question. If I messed up, that's fine. But I'll let you know. If you have questions, you can send them to me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is also Kyle Shevlin. My DMs are open. Frosty, if you want to, send me that question as a DM, and I'll remember to answer it next week when I'm streaming again. Deal? All right, Spot Dogs, you're welcome for the words of wisdom. Pavithra, thanks for checking in. For anyone else out there, thank you. I'm glad you were here. Have a good night. I'll be here next week. I'm not sure Tuesday or Wednesday just yet, but I'll be here next week. Have a good one till then. Bye.